What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from ActMovieGuy.com if you're a blind film critic. And today, I'm going to talk about clown in a cornfield. Oh yeah, there's a clown in the cornfield. I can't see him. I said I was a blind film critic. So I'm just going off of things that I've heard and that I've been told. So you might want to watch out for the cornfields if you are afraid of clowns. Thank you for this bulletin and update. Click like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will continue to give you breaking clown updates about their whereabouts and their locations. I am a blind film critic and I use audio description and accessibility with films when made available to me, or I bitch about them when not. Other critics say they go into things blind. I actually do that. They don't. They think they do. It's cute. It's so cute. Clown in a Cornfield is a new Shudder title that ended up releasing theatrically, which is always like a positive sign. That's the thing about Shudder, is it's like, now that we know they can send things to theaters, you're kind of like looking at the ones they don't send to theaters and going like, why don't they love you? Like, why don't they love you like Clown in a Cornfield? So yeah, this went to the big screen. RELJ, I don't know, is also tapped onto this as a co-production. They don't make great movies. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't like seeing them on a film doesn't strike a lot of confidence in me, and yeah, this didn't change that. Cloud in the Cornfield is based on a novel and on many other films that have come before it, and basically, I felt like I was reminded of really shitty movies while watching this. Like really awful movies, like recent awful movies too, like not good ones, like Jeepers Creepers Reborn, the Children of the Corn remake that came out a couple of years ago. I like those were the ones that kind of stood out the most as being. There was another film, what was it? Escape the Field. It was on Peacock. Like, not great movies, man. Like when you remind me, when I'm sitting there going, where do I remember that from that? Oh God. So there's we open on this flashback, and it's like 1991, and there's like a group of hooligans, and they're out in they're not quite in the cornfield. They're out in a field near a cornfield, and they get into shenanigans. They're getting high. They're out there doing their thing, and then they kind of wander into the cornfield, and they start getting stalked by a clown. This one guy is chasing this girl, and he sees this big shoe print because it's a big clown foot, and he's like, oh wow, she has crazy big feet. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, so we're going horror comedy on this. I didn't think we ever really went horror comedy on it, because it's not really tremendously funny. It just has some scenes where characters just react poorly to things, or the scenes are poorly conceived. So yeah, he's just kind of a dumbass. I don't know. Like, I didn't know him well enough to be like, oh, that's hilarious. He thinks the clown foot is his girlfriend's shoe print. We're in for a ride. So, yeah, basically it's the opening kill sequence. So you can expect what you get from that in every other horror movie ever. And then we jump forward to the future, which is now. The future is now. Hashtag subscribe. This is father and daughter, Quinn, and I don't care what her dad's name is. The audio description also at sometimes refers to him as Doc, and then at other times refers to him by his actual name. He's actually referred to like by two different things from what I could tell. So he has a name also, but I just don't care. I liked Quinn. I didn't pay attention to her name as an actress, but as far as Quinn is, as being this sort of like, why do we have to move to the middle of nowhere? Oh, I hate you, Dad. Oh my God, this is just, everything about this is one of those girls. She's great. She's great at it. She's a great lead for that. Um, she might be the most engaging character in the movie. Just nobody listens to her. And I like the most relatable character, like the one that you're gonna get behind no matter what, because everybody else in this movie sucks hard. Everything in this movie is like really poorly written or oddly written or not written at all, including her father. And their chemistry is so weird. They have no father-daughter chemistry. They could be dating. Like, I know that sounds weird, but write things better if you think that that's weird. I picked up, he doesn't feel like a father at all. There's nothing about this guy that feels like parental. There's nothing about him that feels like, and he doesn't even feel like he's trying to do that like cool dad thing, that's like super ironic, where it's like dad jokes, and he's like trying to get it on. No. No, he has no chemistry with his daughter. He has nothing. There's as a father, there's no parental thing. I don't think this dude has ever played a dad before. I don't think he is a dad. I don't think he knows how to do that. So maybe she's too close to him in age. Sometimes casting that happens. We get a lot of people who are like in their late 20s playing teenagers sometimes. This dude might be like 35. Maybe they're only like 6 years apart. So it's really hard for him to be like, I'm your dad. I guess. So yeah, that was, and they hint at things like she looks at a picture of her mom. Man, they never go into that. Like their backstory, they never want to sit down and just like have it out and be like, why are we here? I'm so sorry that mom exploded. Okay, that's not my fault. I don't know. It's just, this one needs that so badly. It needs some drama. It needs some backstory. It needs stuff, because it just kind of says that things have happened, or you learn tangentially and brush through something, and it's like I don't know, it feels like Clown in a Cornfield is not just one book, but like 3 books, and they tried to adapt all 3 of them simultaneously, so they have to do this as quickly as humanly possible. So they move it to this shitty house that smells weird and has flies. And they're like, did something die in here? Look, of course something died in here. You're in a horror movie and there's an inordinate amount of flies in your house. So, yeah, there's some shit in there. Fireplace. It's nothing important. Don't worry about it. It's just, I don't know. The film is wasting time here, like ominously trying to like, oh, about the previous doctor moved and now they need a new doctor and she's not so happy to be here. So next morning there are no groceries because this is the most unplanned move ever. He has no food, he has nothing. So she's like, well, I guess I'll just go to school. And he's like, you want me to drive you? And she's like, no, I'll just walk. Does she even know where she is? Like, as far as I know, they drove to the house, she went inside. She just, does she just have like a little thing inside of her that tells her where school is at all times, no matter where she is? My superpower is the ability to find schools. I'm just gonna walk to the closest one. Oh shit, it's the elementary school. I'm too old for this. Damn. So, yeah, good for her, because her neighbor Russ has shown up to walk her to school. So weird. It's so random. And they cast this kid who's kind of like, I think he's like hulking, kind of like big and tall, because he's supposed to be like, what's up with this kid? Is he kind of creepy? I don't know. I mean, I get what they were trying to do with him, and this kid seems like he's trying to give a performance. It's like, maybe I'm the killer. It's like, okay, kid, have fun being a huge misdirect for the whole movie. And then they kind of abandon his character too. Like, he's not in much of the movie. He he warns Quinn about hanging out with the right crowd, making sure they stay away from. He's like, we got some weird kids at this school, stay away from them. And she basically just goes to class and sits down, and the students have pranked the teacher, or at least some of them have. At least one student has pranked the teacher and has put a picture of him up on the board that like superimposed his head on the body, and then like there's also like his dating profile. He thinks he's handing out like the test, but it's actually this like fake dating profile they made of him. And he gets like really flustered and angry, and like he's like, all of you are, we're all doing this. And I can't remember what his blanket punishment for the whole class is something. And then somebody pipes up, not the new girl, not Quinn, but some other girl pops up and says, that's not fair to the new girl, she just got here. And he's like, no. So he gives Quinn detention. Like, what the fuck? And then people are just like, what? And then so he gives like a couple more people detention, and it's just like, why did you? Okay, so considering how this film goes, they don't know Quinn. And this teacher, like, if you're trying to foster the youth of tomorrow, there should have been more of a lean to separate Quinn from the bad crowd. But this teacher kind of is such a dick that he just kind of throws her into the Breakfast Club and is like, I don't know, you look like a loser. Just, you showed up late to my class. And it's like, and she tries to say something. That's why she gets detention. She's like, it was my first day and they didn't tell me where I was going. I've like never been in this building before. I didn't have a class schedule until, like the kind of logical stuff that you would think of for first day, first class. God. Anyway, so this is a tough movie to love, man. This is really poorly written. So this teacher just like throws everybody in. And so of course she ends up with that group of friends that she's not supposed to have, because this teacher, who later will turn out to be one of the bad guys, by the way, hot take. I'm just going to go ahead and spoil the movie for you. And like their whole reasoning behind this is so stupid. And I'm like, so you did this. You were the one who pushed Quinn towards this group like a fucking idiot. Like this whole movie should have just been like a teaching Mrs. Tingle thing, killing Mrs. Griffin. And they should have just killed him, like, and been like done with it, and been like, no, he's the problem. We're moving on with our lives. And then they leave. And later on, we see this friend group. They like to make movies, like scary movies, about this Friendo the clown, which is the lore, which is the clown that we saw in the beginning. And like, it's a legacy, and it's part of this. There's a Founders Day coming up, and there's a parade. And Friendo, there was a plant there. One of the group, Cole, his dad is rich. They live at Hill House, which I thought was hilarious, considering, how many times we've had Hill House in a horror movie before. So, it's played by Kevin Durand, by the way. So there are a couple of actors in here that you'd be like, oh, that's interesting. I feel like he's kind of wasted. He does get to do some stuff as a monologue, as, again, one of the bad guys. And yeah, it's just about this group of teenagers that are doing regular sort of typical teenager stuff, and not too much not like too wild and crazy, certainly not considering other teenage movies that we've seen. Kind of makes me wonder how the adults in this film would react to Euphoria. Like, oh my like, just so I don't know. There's a friend group. There are two girls in this group and a couple guys, and they're gonna get picked off slowly one by one in bloody fashion. And eventually, a couple of them are gonna be out in the cornfield and get chased, like the final remaining ones. They're blamed for something at the parade that they didn't do. Cole reveals that he's been blamed for something that he didn't do at this factory of his dad's that I think cost his sister her life. And then there's more on that later. And Quinn just keeps getting blamed for things and thrown in jail with these people. Like, she keeps getting forced into this group. This town is so shitty, considering it's like why it's doing all of this. So, and I was thinking about it too, like, where are these parents? Like, even if the town is all in on it, like, all of these parents have to individually hate their kids in order for this to work. Like, this has to be some weird cult thing where they're all like, well, my kid sucks now, I guess we have to kill them, you know? But we never see the parents of the other kids. Like, nobody ever worries. We don't meet the other parents. You know, there's nobody's ever like wandering around like, have you seen, hey, you guys, you're friends with my kid. Have you seen him? Where'd he go? He hasn't been home in days. Dun, dun, dun. Like, it never does any of that. So it's just sort of like, it's conveniently written, but it's conveniently written to be stupid. Like, honestly, I had such a hard time liking this movie. I think some of the cast is fine, mostly the teens, because they're playing teens, like the young cast. The adults are, Will Sasso as the sheriff was kind of fine, but then he turns around and is part of his group. Like, nobody ever turned out to be, I kind of needed one of them to just be not in on it, but then it's like every adult they've met in the town, because, well, they haven't met that many because this film was made on the cheap, and they have extras and then they have speaking roles. So there are a couple people who are just like named characters, who are not named characters, who Quinn has like run into, who end up being also clowns. So this town, the adults use Friendo the clown to purge problematic teens from their world. Like, they like things the way they like them. They're stuck in this, like, sort of, I don't know, like, they're not even stuck in that old school. I know they want to think that they're in, like, My Three Sons, Leave It to Beaverish type thing is what they're shooting for here, but I don't feel that at all. Like, they don't go over the top with it. It's in the direction, you know. This film needed a better director. This film needed like Gary Ross to recreate Pleasantville, and then to kind of give it that vibe. Honestly, Don't Worry Darling does a better job of that. It doesn't ever have that feeling. It just has a whole bunch of stupid adults that have dumb reasons for doing things, and then the killing teenagers. Like, that's what this movie is. It's to the point where I don't usually love spoiling movies, but I just really don't care here. Like, this movie is so frustratingly, all of the reasons why I don't like the movie have everything to do with how the movie plays out. And every single choice they make is just like, oh, that was dumb. Well, that was dumb. Like, they have this little box, right? It's a little like pop-up clown box that they put that like leads to a kill sequence, but it's so unnecessary. So, like, they find these little boxes everywhere. I'm like, oh no, it's a Friendo the clown box. Does this mean I've been targeted? Like, it's like, why? Why is it even there? It's, I don't know, man. I didn't hate the teenagers. I actually liked them. I thought their performances were fine. I'll give Russ a pass as an actor because I think he's being told to do something here, where he's told to be ominous for he's not, no, none of the teams are bad. They're not part of this. So he's just told to be ominous and creepy to give you like ooh, maybe it's him. Maybe it's the weird kid, you know, like that kind of thing. It's, no, it's more frustrating than that. The dad's not in on it. Quinn's dad has not been there long enough for them to rope him in on it, so he's also in danger. There's a huge plot point that revolves around Quinn's inability to drive a stick shift. What else? Cole and Russ used to be friends, and now they're not. And you'll find out why towards the end of the movie. And I don't know how I feel about it. It was just so random. It was just like, okay. And I think Quinn's line sums it up the best, where she's like, "This is such a weird day." Like, yeah. So, the audio description, I actually didn't catch who was credited. It's Shudder, and usually Shudder titles are audio eyes. And this felt like okay, like maybe it was audio eyes. Like it's not quite as good as it could have been for a horror movie. But it does distinguish between clowns, sort of, because they have like different weapons, especially at one point when there are multiple clowns. And there's like the clown with the sledgehammer, the clown with the chainsaw, the clown with the pickaxe, the clown with, you know what I'm saying? Like they're all holding like different weapons. And various sort of kill sequences are most of them are well described. I do think there's one where there was one where it just kind of said he kills him. You know what I'm saying? Like, how? I think we forgot to say it. You know, like there wasn't like a with the axe, with a pun. Like I was waiting for a little bit more of a description on that. But other than that, yeah, this is plus you can see all of the deaths coming. Like all of them. Like there's nothing, like me spoiling this movie for you is just basically like telling you like this ending that they think is like super cool, which again has been done before, like where it's like the community and they're like, you kids with your crazy, we don't need you in your town messing things up, we like things the way we like them, and you're going to be a part of this or not, we're going to brainwash you into our way of life. It just doesn't ever feel, we don't ever spend that much time in this town to feel like that way of life. These actors are not cast like they're throwbacks to a time period. Like they want to be in the 1950s in perpetuity. This isn't that. Of course the film isn't going to look forward to trying to like whitewash things. So it's not trying to like specifically get rid of all of it's not one of those films. So it's stuck in this weird limbo where it's just adults don't like kids who are, I don't know, who they perceive as being troublesome. And mostly what these kids do on the side is just make little horror movies. Like, they're not really blamed for anything huge or major. There's a little bit of teen drinking. But yeah, these kids don't do that much. And I had a hard time embracing anything that this movie was putting down. That being said, it's an easy breezy watch. It's actually the movies that it reminded me of. It's better than all of them. I would rather watch this than Jeepers Creepers Reborn, Escape the Field, or the Children of the Corn remake. Mainly because the teens are good, which is a hard thing to pull off. I've seen some other films where it's like they found teenagers who can't act, or I should say 20-somethings playing teenagers that can't act. So that's what worked for me. Is specifically I'll put a lot on Quinn's shoulders. Should have remembered her name for this video, but they're all kind of new to me. I don't know if they're all like TikTok stars or what's going on with casting, but yeah, that's it. There's nothing much to see in Clown in the Cornfield. I know it's surprising. You were like, man, this sounds like it's an Oscar film. But the sad thing is, and this is a heavy is the heart of the truth of the matter. This is from the director of one of my favorite horror comedies. It's the guy who directed Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. And I love that movie. And it was such a surprise. And it's gained like such a little following for being sort of campy, funny horror. Like it's gory, but it's also really funny at the same time. And yeah, that film has a lot to do with the casting. They cast, two hilarious actors, Tyler Labine and Alan Tudyk, and that really put Tucker and Dale on the path to success. And I look at this and I go, where's your Tucker and Dale? Like you needed that so bad. You needed like to trust Will Sasso to do something more than what he does with the sheriff. Give him more range or something. Separate him from the group. Make him not one of the adults who's in with maybe he's trying to warn the kids and trying to get them away so that they don't get, pegged for death by the clown adults. I don't know, something. But everything is underdeveloped. We don't know that much about people. Anything that's important to the script is kind of brushed on. There's not enough here for me to believe that they want to stay in this way of life. I don't even know, what is this way of life? Like, what do you, we don't spend enough time here to be like, why don't any of the adults use cell phones, or something? Like, what is they're all driving old cars. What's the thing about old cars here? Classic cars. Like, there's nothing kitschy here. Like, what is it they just don't like? But these teenagers are going to graduate and they're going to leave anyway. The fuck is your problem? Like, like, they're trapped here because they're in high school. So then they graduate and you don't want to see if they leave first. It's just such a weird concept and movie. I don't know what the book is, but I know it's like probably made for teenagers to be scared. That's why they have to be in high school. But I'm sure they also made sense in the actual book. I would hope so. Otherwise, why did we adapt it? So yeah, I can't recommend this. Sorry, Clown in the Cornfield. There are a couple other horror movies this year that I didn't like love to death, but I liked them more than this. Clown in the Cornfield, though, what I'll give it, though, is that some of the films that I've liked a little bit more than this also have a little bit of a mean streak in them. Like, I saw Hard Eyes on Netflix grouped in with comedy movies. I'm like, that's a tough call. I thought some of that was, yeah, it's trying to be a comedy, but it has a really hard time with I thought it had a hard time balancing its graphic horror with the comedy and also being funny and just the plot. And like, that has some problems too. But at least there are reasons to like Hard Eyes a little bit. I can't, aside from a couple performances that I didn't hate, there's nothing else I can say about this movie. So, Clown in Cornfield. It was better than the film that released in the spot a year ago from Shudder, which was In a Violent Nature, which I hated. And I also hated that audio description track. The audio description track's better. The film's a little bit better. But yeah, I'm not going to really remember this film too much going forward. I'm going to give Clown in a Cornfield a D+. I feel like that's probably about right for this. Yeah, it's just, write it better. There's a concept here, for sure. But man, they didn't know what to do with it. Like, at all. So, anyway, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I will see you guys on the other side.